And first, of course, we want to do our national anthems. So we'll do both Sri Lankan national anthem first and then the American national anthem. Please rise. Please be seated. Performance. So, all these auspicious things, we start with our great. You can see exactly what we are going to do now, right? So this is our symbol of Sri Lanka. So we are going to light the lamp. I would like to invite our Honorable Ambassador, Dakshin, our Honorable Consul General, Houston, and then I have several other people, Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George, and then Deva Shelaya, who is the Director of the Care for Education. Of course, he has some other titles. When I spoke to him, I got to mingle with him a little bit earlier. He said, "Sorry, that's enough. Just mention the education part." And of course, Dr. Bandal Vijay. So please approach the lamp. Let's do the lighting of the lamp. So I presented that little bit. Dakshini, I would like to invite you to the podium and to give us a welcome speech. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, His Excellency the Ambassador, Mr. Samar Singh. It is my honor and pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Especially, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for being with me today here to welcome a distinguished representative of our country, our ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Mr. Mahinda Samar Singh. On behalf of the Sri Lankan community in Houston, I'm delighted to express our heartfelt appreciation to the ambassador for being here. This visit is not only a testament to the strong bonds that connect the Sri Lankan diaspora with our homeland, but also it serves as a bridge to connect us with our heritage and the progress that is taking place in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka will always have a special place in our hearts, no matter where we live. Each one of us carries a piece of Sri Lanka wherever we go, whether it's through language, traditions, or even cuisine. This cultural richness is a testament to the resilience and the diversity of our nation. Today, we are not only honored by the presence of the ambassador, but also his visit provides us with a unique opportunity to discuss and explore avenues how we could contribute to the progress of Sri Lanka. That being said, now I would like to introduce our ambassador. His Excellency, Mr. Mahinda Samarasinghe, is a very experienced diplomat and a politician who has nearly 4 decades of experience in public service. Following his graduation from La Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia, he has been appointed as the first secretary to the High Commission of Canberra in Australia, and subsequently as the counsellor to the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in Geneva. During his tenure in Geneva, he had represented Sri Lanka at several international organizations, including the International Labour Organization, the World Health Organization, and the International Telecommunication Union. Through his diplomatic engagements and his role as a provincial legislator, member of a parliament for 13 years, and minister for 19 years, he has gained a wealth of knowledge and experience. So, his insights and advice are invaluable in guiding us how we can contribute to the growth of Sri Lanka. With that in mind, I would now like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Mahinda Samarasinghe, to the podium to address the gathering. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Dakshini, thank you very much for that very generous introduction. And thank you very much for making this event possible. I can remember when you visited Washington, D.C., when we celebrated 75 years of diplomatic relations between the US and Sri Lanka. One of the things that I mentioned during the course of my speech on that evening was that I want to reach out to the diaspora, reach out to the Sri Lankan diaspora, and you were very interested in facilitating that request. You came back to Texas, didn't forget what I requested, and you kept on asking me for dates to come here and meet the Sri Lankan community so that we can start a dialogue, which is so important for us to narrow the differences, understand and appreciate what all of us united can do to help the country. So, thank you very much, Dakshini, for making this event possible. You are an exemplary honorary consul. And when the Master of Ceremonies spoke about you, he mentioned in particular how you have helped people. You have helped Buddhist monks to come here to the US, propagate the words of the Buddha, wisdom of the Buddha. You have helped them to set themselves up. You have financially assisted them, I know, on many occasions. And whenever you have done this, you have never, as a lawyer, who would naturally, you know, we have met lawyers right throughout our public life. The bill is always said, but you have never done that. You have done it free of charge. And it's not only Buddhist priests whom you have helped, you have also helped ordinary people. Come here, settle down, and contribute to the society, as well as use the income that they earn to help Sri Lanka in many, many ways. So, Lakshmi, thank you very much for all what you have done, and I have no doubt that your service will go from strength to strength. I think you should give another round of applause. And thank you to all of you for being here today. When I came 2 years ago to Washington, that was in 2021 December, it was at a time when Sri Lanka was experiencing challenging issues. The economy was not doing that well. Aragale hadn't started, but there were signs of people's agitation building up. There were queues. We saw outside petrol stations, outside places where you could buy your gas for your daily cooking. People were finding it very difficult to make ends meet. There were extended times where there were power disruptions in Sri Lanka as a result of the oil not being able to be imported to provide energy, as a result of depletion of foreign exchange reserves. So the signs were there. And it was only after I came to Washington that Sri Lanka, for the first time in our history, declared bankruptcy. That was something that we never expected to see during our lifetime or even our children's lifetimes. When we gained independence in 1948, Sri Lanka was one of the strongest economies in the whole of Asia. We were actually an example that they always used to show how the ex-colonies could further develop from where the British had left. So, when we look back to where we were and where we had arrived at a couple of years ago, it was actually shocking. So, there are, of course, various reasons that people put forward as justification to what Sri Lanka was facing at that time, the economic downturn, how it all happened. The easiest excuse was to blame it all on either the Easter Sunday massacre or COVID, having that significant negative impact on the Sri Lankan economy as well as the world economy. But there were other reasons. There were reasons of poor economic management, not only limited to one government, but actually a number of governments. Everyone has to take responsibility for what happened 2 years ago. So, I had a discussion amongst my colleagues at the embassy, and we discussed it openly, we discussed the challenges openly, and we took a collective decision to contact the International Monetary Fund. Now, you may be aware that the International Monetary Fund is headquartered in Washington, DC. So we took this decision, and I took the initiative of contacting the managing director of the International Monetary Fund. And I discussed with her in detail the challenges that Sri Lanka was facing.
Samma Sambuddha Jnanena Samma Sambuddha Samma Sambuddha Lokashmi Samma Sambuddha Te Namo
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Ambassador, and of course, Honorable Counsel General. It is an honor and privilege to stand in front of you. I think I'm the only non-Sri Lankan sitting here, it looked like. We have one more person, right? Yes, so it is absolutely an honor and privilege to stand in front of you. And also, you heard our ambassador talking about visiting the International Monetary Agency, the support coming from the US, and that's the reason why I always believe this is an amazing place in the face of the United States of America. We actually help people. We actually take care of people. And look at it. I am a person who grew up in southern tip of India, which is called Kerala, and I'm here. I'm the top elected official of the 8th largest county in the state of Texas, with almost 950,000 people live. And I don't know how many of you live in Fort Bend County. And so we are one of the most ethnically diverse counties in the country. And we have a vibrant Sri Lankan community. We have all walks of life, people live here. That's what makes Fort Bend County a better place. And I'm the first person of 186 years of Fort Bend history. I'm the first person of any county got elected to that position in 2018. So it's an honor. America is the only place that happened. And so thank you for inviting me. And I just wanted to say, Dr. Bandula, thank you for your guidance. And I was able to, first time, visit Sri Lanka 3 months ago, and I was, in the middle of COVID and all that stuff. I'm the director of emergency management when that happened. So I wasn't able to go anywhere, and then finally I decided to go to India, and I said, okay, this time I'm going to visit Sri Lanka. And I visited numerous places thanks to Dr. Bindula. He put together a real program for me, and I was able to visit the port city. I was able to visit Sri Jayawardena University, and of course I visit Rosie Sananayak. I'm sure you all know, right? I visited with her, and of course I visited the Honorable Minister of Health, Ramesh Patirama. There are many, many people, and also more importantly, I visited Galle. Is that what you say? How you say it? I went there, and it is a beautiful port city. And I stayed in one of the best resorts in that area. An interesting thing about that is I was there for the dinner. I was the only brown person there. Everybody else is from Europe. White people were there, and they were looking at me like what I'm doing, kind of thing. And of course, Sri Lankans were the one serving and all that stuff. Other than that, all the guests. And so it is absolutely a destination for especially people coming from the Europe. And I tell you this, looking at the history of Sri Lanka, it amazes me. I don't know, I was listening to your national anthem. I don't know you realize.
gracing us with this esteemed present. Your Excellency, we are deeply honored to have you here with us. I also wish to acknowledge the presence of our other distinguished guests, Judge Mr. K.P. George, Dr. Bandula Vijay, and the Honorary Council of Texas, Dakshini Senanayakan. Your presence further enriches this gathering and underscores the importance of the discussions we will engage in today. It's an honor to address you today. My name is Devarajan Chellaya, and I am one of the Director of Care for Education. I would like to share with you our organization's profound commitment to education and the transformative preschool program we are implementing. At Care for Education, we firmly believe in the power of education to transform lives and communities. Our mission is rooted in the fundamental belief that every child, regardless of their background or circumstances, deserves access to quality of education. As we gather here today, it is imperative to recognize that the future of any nation hinges upon the education and well-being of its youngest citizens, particularly those under the age of 5. The early years of child's life lay the foundation for their future success and the prosperity of the country as a whole. However, despite the critical importance of early childhood education, it is disheartening to acknowledge that many countries, including Sri Lanka, face significant challenges in adequately funding and supporting programs for young children. Yet, rather than viewing this as a problem, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for collective action and positive change. As members of the global community, each of us holds the power to make a difference, no matter where we reside. Instead of waiting for governments to address this issue, we can take proactive steps and implement initiatives to improve the situation ourselves. One impactful way to do so is by embracing the concept of adopting a school in our own villages or communities. By taking on this responsibility, we can directly contribute to enhancing the quality of early childhood education for children in need. This could involve providing financial support, volunteering our time and expertise, or even establishing partnerships with local educators and organizations. Through such initiatives, we not only address the immediate challenges faced by underfunded schools, but also...
Dear friends, well, I'm going to give you the dessert, because you already have had your meal, so this would be the dessert. So my talk is going to be a little bit challenging, in the sense I'm going to tell a story that I experienced during the month of December. I left Sri Lanka when I was 18 years old. In the ensuing years, of course, education and work, business, whatever, I did not have the opportunity to go back to Sri Lanka that often, except in the last 10 years, I was quite involved with the Sri Lankan government, so I traveled quite often. However, in most of my travels, I spent about 10 days the most. But because of the pandemic, I could not go there for almost 4 years. The last time I went was in 2019 when I organized a symposium on personalized medicine in Colombo. So this time I went there for 3 weeks. So my experience in Sri Lanka is a little bit different. I arrived something like early morning, I think 3 o'clock or something. And a friend of mine picked me up and I went to Anuradhapura to see my sister. During my trip, of course you all know on the roadside there are people who are selling mangoes and then you have the family. So every time I see mangoes, I like to eat mangoes, so I stopped and I ate mangoes. Of course, I don't have to tell you, these are the most delicious mangoes you can ever find anywhere in the world. But that's not the point. Every place where I stopped, I spoke to the guy who was selling the mangoes. I spoke to him in Sinhalese, and then my friend who is from Sri Lanka, he also was helping me to kind of get along with these people. I talked to them, and I think from Colombo to Anuradhapura, we probably stopped about 6 or 7 places. Purposely in the mangoes, one thing it was very tasty, otherwise I want to meet the people. And then I came back to Colombo. When I arrived in Colombo, I saw a different city that I saw in 2019. It was amazing. And I thought, am I really in Colombo? Yes, I was in Colombo. I stayed in a hotel near the